Alito, Chimachukma, Sahoficho, Miko Skyhand. What's going on, family? Those who don't know that, that's the ancient Choctaw language. Mean hello, how you doing? My name is Chief Skyhand. I'm gonna get right to the point. I've been looking at a lot of these videos and sitting back and watching and see if anybody gonna talk about the United Nations Declaration Rights for Indigenous People. And I ain't seen no leaders on Facebook or YouTube pushing this agenda. You know what I'm saying? I don't see nobody. I'm saying to myself, I want to have these people, are y'all reading it? Do y'all understanding it? Well, if y'all haven't read it and y'all constantly saying we black, we black, we black, I see a lot of y'all leaders out there, a lot of y'all politicians out there, a lot of y'all activists keep calling us black. Let me explain something to you. Black is a color. Black is not a nationality. It's a color. It's an adjective. It's an adjective. It's description. It's not a nationality. It's not a noun. It's not a person, place, or thing. It don't define who you are. It's just saying that's black. Black car. Black cat. Black horse. Black house. Undrip define who you are. Undrip gives you your rights. It gives you a right to a nationality. Everything that you activists looking for is in Undrip. UN Declaration Rights for Indigenous People. Indigenous mean first people. Indigenous mean Aboriginal, original people. It gives you the right to be free, to govern yourselves, education, a right to a nationality, a right to govern yourself, a right to live free. And I'm saying to myself, I know these leaders have to know about Undrip. You had like 57 countries that signed off on it. Of course, America did not sign off on it, but it's there, and we can push it. And me personally, I met with some country mayors in their little towns and spoke with them about it, and they took it and made it a part of their charter, their town charter. Now everybody in their town is considered indigenous people. You're indigenous to the earth. You're indigenous to the land. And I understand these chiefs and these tribes and black folks is not pushing Undrip. It's not behind Undrip. That is our solution. We talking about everything else except Undrip and Adrip. When they talking about indigenous people, again, let me explain myself. Undrip mean indigenous people mean original people. The first people in the sun. The first people who came with the earth. Aboriginal people. Same meaning. That's you. And it don't have anything to do with your religion. Indigenous people have the right to practice their religion and their culture. It didn't say Hebrews. It didn't say Christians. It didn't say Muslims. It didn't say Jews. It said indigenous people have the right to practice their religion and their culture without any hindrance. Indigenous people have a right to a nationality. Black is not a nationality. Again, black is not a nationality. Why y'all on Facebook and YouTube pages saying black people this and black people that and black people this? This the reason why they treat you like they treat you. Because you don't have no nationality. So of course you will not be considered indigenous because you don't have no nationality. You're just a color. What makes you still a slave to this system? Indigenous people have a right to a nationality. My nationality is Shata, a.k.a. Choctaw, from the Muskogee, Oakland-Falaya. I don't understand. Your organization don't have no power. Your nation don't have no power. If you can't make a phone call to one of these elected officials and say, free my people, Let my people go. You are interference in my domestic affairs. You don't have no power. Every other nation have power except the so-called Negro or so-called black folks, the original people in America. You have no power. You don't work together. You work like colors. You separate. Because we're not looking for the solution. Democrats, Republicans don't represent us. They never have and they never will. Never have, never will. So why are you trying to be a Democrat, a Democrat? Why are you trying to be a Republican? You should be indigenous, standing behind and pushing Undrip. That is our political agenda. Undrip. Look it up. The UN Declaration Rights for Indigenous People. These Republicans are not going to sign off on that. These Democrats going to sign off on that. These Negroes who've been in these same positions is not going to sign off on it. We as a grassroots people got to push this. Go to your little country towns in Alabama, your little country towns in Mississippi, the Carolinas, Arkansas. Talk to those mayors. Talk to those people. We don't need to be calling ourselves nothing else but indigenous. I'm indigenous. The Creator made us indigenous. We are the first people in the light of the sun. Hands down, nobody can make that claim. Every other nation has a birth record. We don't have no birth record. Everywhere they go, they finding your bones. You are the oldest people on the planet. So if you are the oldest people on the planet, you was the oldest people in America. So you indigenous. You're not Afro-indigenous. You indigenous. Afro me is a goddamn it. It's a damn hairstyle. You're not Afro-indigenous. You indigenous. It's just that simple. We can't spin. Goddamn, man. I don't understand this. You indigenous. I'm Afro-indigenous. I'm this and no, you indigenous. Leave it alone. Nothing wrong with it. You can't fix nothing that is not broken. You're too heavy. You want to be so deep and so knowledgeable. You indigenous to these lands. 196,940,000 square miles belong to the original man. All your leaders told you was indigenous. So now you got a piece of political agenda, I guess I'm saying it right, that was signed off by 50-some countries saying that you have these rights as indigenous people. You, of course, the America Buckra, the America Nahulas, yeah, they acknowledge it. They know it existed. But we can get these cities and these towns to make it a part of their city charter. Because black people in America don't have no rights, but indigenous people do. Afro-American don't have no rights in America, but indigenous people do. You're not none of those things. You are indigenous. And we need every leader, every up-and-coming leader. Them goddamn, wherever y'all talking about the wrong thing. Everybody talking about the Anunnakis and the Sumerians and the Egypt. Y'all talking about the wrong thing. That ain't helping us. How long you gonna be on them same topics? If they come in, if you and your husband having a domestic affairs and your wife called on the husband or the husband called on the wife, somebody going to jail. No. Anunnaki ain't finna come down and free nobody. It got to be your nation called that particular institution said, look, you got one of our people that we need them automatic relief. We handle our own domestic affairs. You don't have that power to do that. No nation. Why? Because you're not standing behind Undrip. You're operating as a powerless people. A religionless, powerful people. A religionless, powerless people. Church have no power. Religion have no power. Everything is weak. And they play you. They playing us because they know we weak because we separated. But this indigenous gonna bring everybody together because it don't have nothing to do with your religion belief. You could be Muslim, you're indigenous, you Christian. If you the first people under the light of the sun, if you melanated, you red like me, a reddish brown or a darker brown or real blue black, whatever you are, if you could stand the sun and the sun don't burn your skin, you indigenous. So why not get behind Undrip? Why not push it? This should be a mass movement. Everybody want to be too damn heavy, man. I don't understand this shit. Well, man, you know, the Anunnaki brother and the Sumerian brother, man, all that brother, that ain't gonna free us. That's just knowledge. And we've been on this same thing for too long, since the 80s. And everybody, all these great leaders saying we are the original people. So now, UN decided to pass the document. Sign off on it. Indigenous people need to be free. They need to have self-govern themselves. They need to have a right to education. They need to have the right to practice their own culture without hindrance. They can smoke marijuana. If this is a part of their culture, they can do that. They can do everything except go out here and kill people. Go out here and commit crimes. Because as indigenous, you're not a citizen. See? American can do what they want to their citizens. See? To their slaves. So if you want to remain a slave, then you just keep calling yourself black. If you want to remain a slave to the American system, keep calling yourself African American. Keep calling yourself Latino. Keep calling yourself all these names that they put on you. And you're going to remain a slave. And they're going to keep picking you up. And they're going to keep locking you up. As long as you don't do nobody harm to their citizen, they shouldn't be touching you. If you don't do nobody harm to now one of their citizens, they shouldn't be touching you. They should not be interacting or coming in and messing with you about your domestic affairs. Let your nation handle your domestic affairs. But you don't have no nation. We don't have no nation. We don't have no backup. You don't have no representative. Nobody can call, say, look, we found out, let me speak to your chief. Or let me speak to the county mayor. Well, we ain't found out that you got one of our people, their name is such and such. We can handle our own domestic affairs. Can you please release them into our custody? We'll be on our way to pick them up. If your nation can't say that, then your nation has no power. If your people's not treated with diplomatic immunity, then these people, listen, you have no power. America is on indigenous people's soil. This corporation is operating on our soil. They built their roads on our soil. They created their institution on our soil. You are indigenous to the soil. A lot of these people have been lying to you and mislabeling you and paper genociding you. You are indigenous, not only to America, but we in America. We've been here. We've been the first people here. And I know my native family might have a disagreement, but your history and your oral story saying that your gods are dark-skinned gods, so-called black. I'm gonna use the word black gods. That's why you can cut this. That's in a lot of y'all oral stories. We the only people that has no birth record. The oldest bones belong to us in America. The oldest bone belong to us in Asia. The oldest bone belong to Akubu land. The oldest bone belongs to us. Everywhere you go, you find the oldest bone, and it goes back to us as a people. So why would you not call yourself indigenous? It's there. You don't have to put nothing on it. I'm Afro. What is that? You indigenous. Why we always got to go and fuck up shit? Leave it alone. You indigenous. Go read Undrip. Read Adrip. And let 40 million original indigenous people get behind it and push it. We pushing this in every town, every city, every crook and nook in America. Not no civil rights movement, the indigenous movement. It gives us human rights. It gives us our God rights. It gives us universal rights. We don't need civil rights. It don't work for us. We don't need their 14th Amendment. We don't need their 13th Amendment. We need indigenous rights. Go and read it. It's a piece of Shalak Shanique.